This is Beyond the Big Screen podcast with your host, Steve Guerra.
Here is another Beyond the Big Screen teaser for episodes coming soon. I hope you enjoy and definitely tune in for future episodes. If you want to learn more, you can head over to beyondthebigscreen.com. You can also send me an email to steve@a2zhistorypage.com or follow us on social media by searching for A2Z History. I will see you next time beyond the big screen.
Absolutely. So, and again, this is something that some folks struggle with studying this time period, because the issues, like you said, Steve, aren't necessarily, these what we think of as big issues like pro-slavery, anti-slavery, but they were seen as important at the time, and in particular with business and industry and down to the individual lives. So, you had the tariff issue that was a big issue, and basically Republicans were for higher tariffs to make sure that, and it gets back to, and this was even in the Washington presidency, this idea of tariffs being used to level the playing field. So if you have an industry that isn't as well developed in the United States, maybe there are just a couple of factories making this certain product, but we've got foreign competitors that are flooding the market with these, and they can offer them cheaper than these smaller operations in the US can. If you set up a tariff, you are basically, you're bringing in revenue. And that also gets to another aspect of this that I'll talk about in a minute. But
Tammany Hall had been around a long time. That's the Democratic machine in New York City, and of course that was the Tweed ring. The Tweed people got in charge of that. Of course, they hated Cleveland. I mean, they hated him. It's kind of interesting. They hated Roosevelt too. They were in different parties, but they were still reform minded. That's the last thing they wanted to see was Cleveland, and particularly somebody as tough and, if you will, I guess, hard-headed. I mean, he was not going to be intimidated by Tammany Hall. Tammany Hall had intimidated a lot of politicians over the years, and they were used to either buying them off or intimidating them, but they couldn't intimidate Cleveland. I mean, he stood up to the ring in Buffalo, to Tammany Hall, while he was a governor. And of course, they were kind of happy to see him go into the White House. Well, maybe he'll leave us alone. Now he's in Washington, and we can get back to stealing from the people of New York.